you doing? Hey, how's it going? You guys got problems? Because let me tell you, I got problems. And I'm going to help you try and solve them. Or I'm going to make them worse. I'm not liable for anything that happens. But boy, do I know problems. So I'm going to try and help. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hello, what's going on? I wasn't going to stream originally because I was really, really tired. And then I bought one of these from a co-op. And now I'm good. Now I'm good and ready to do a little hour or half of giving advice for your lighthearted problems. I will not be tackling or reading any of the ones that are like big problems where I could actually do damage if I gave bad advice. I'm going to keep them light so that the damage that I can cause by speaking on problems that aren't mine is limited. You know? But welcome, dudes, to the stream. Hello, hello. Sorry I couldn't do it any later. Streaming any later in England is basically just bedtime, so this is the time we're live today. You went to a co-op. Actually ordered from a co-op. I didn't go, but I've been to a co-op. I've been to plenty of co-ops. I've been to off licenses. I'm British now, basically. I think my British accent's getting better. I won't do it for you, though. Last Dark, thank you for subscribing. Handsome Monkey, thank you for subbing. Rachel Bria, TikTok. And Bugs for Kylie, thank you for subscribing. When are you gonna next stream Daylight Valley? Streamlight Valley, I can't read. Oh, I don't know. I do want to keep playing it. I actually did keep playing it after we stopped streaming because I was a little bit, I got a little obsessed with the process of cleansing all of those, like, roots that are around the area. And this is what I ended up doing. I've removed them all. They're gone now from that entire starting zone. So are all of the things that are all over the ground at all. There's like stuff just on the ground. That's all gone too. I picked it all up. I learned really quickly though that sticks and things just spawn on the ground all the time. So you can keep picking them up. They're going to keep spawning. And then I actually did so much picking up of the vines and like cleansing them, whatever it was called, and harvesting all the fruits and building bigger gardens around my house. I actually did so much of that I earned so much, whatever it was called, dust at the well. I forget what it was called. I earned so much. I think I have 6,000 something. I can open handful more doors inside the castle, or I can unlock other biomes in the main, like, living village. So I did all that in my spare time. I think it took me like an hour and a half to fully clear out that beginning area. And I think what I want to do is, because I'm obsessive like this, I want to unlock the other areas in the village first before I do any more doors and move any people in. Clear them all out completely. And then I get to decide where all of the villagers live. I did put Remy's house down too. I realized in my furniture inventory, it gave me a house to place. So I want to have all of the available areas to place all of the different people like Moana and whoever else is in there, Elsa. So I think I'm going to completely 100% clear the main village and unlock all the doors that are there to the other biomes and clear them out, and then do all the doors. And I'll probably do it on stream because it has been so fun just mindlessly cleansing vines. I don't know. I just couldn't help myself from wanting to. It's like picking weeds in Animal Crossing. I could do that all day. Just run around and pick every weed in every little square. So, and it makes me feel good when I'm done. Some days I have the patience to be able to do that. Just pick individual things for an hour like that. Or other days I have no patience and I will literally go into a full-on rage if I have to pick up one more vine or weed. It's got to be the right day. And right now I'm in a phase of my life where every day is a day where I can just sit and pick a weed for an hour from a square at a time. The glasses in your video suit you so well. Oh, thank you so much. I lost them. I lost those. I'm wearing these now because I lost my regular ones. Wait, headband. Let me advise you. Let me open up my Instagram stories because that's where I opened the question for people to. I'm not gonna wear these. It kind of hurts my head when you have a headband squeezing at you and then also glasses squeezing at you. But I'm gonna go on my Instagram story. This is by all means anonymous if you send an ask to my Instagram, will I see your username? Yes. Will anybody else? No. So I will read the asks you send me on Instagram as if they are anonymous, because they are for everybody but me. And you can just trust me because I'm very good at keeping secrets. And if I'm being really honest, I'm probably not going to remember the username associated with every single advice that I give. So don't even worry about it. I won't remember anyway. But I'm going to do my best to give good advice for our little problems. Little problems. Small ones that maybe I have some experience in some way can help. Why is he grumpy today? Who grumped that, man? I didn't do that. Does he need advice? Do you have problems that I can solve, sir? Here's how we solve it. There, he's happy now. I got him at a Cracker Barrel. Did I ever say where I got him? I got him at a Cracker Barrel in Texas. There, problem solved. That's how good I am at advice. Okay, let me go to my story. And one of my friends sent, what's 2 + 2? Oh wait, it's supposed to be anonymous. I don't know this person, but the problem is 4. Also, if you do try to send me your math homework, I won't do it. I thought about it. I thought about it for a second if I would do your math homework for you because I'm good at math, but no. Frappy Soy, thank you for subscribing. Black Coyote, thank you for subbing. Utter Chaos, thank you. KK Forever. Thank you guys for subscribing. 31 months, Utter Chaos. Getting close to 3 years. We got 2 new badges for that, and I've already commissioned the badges for 3.5 and 4 years because I might as well get ahead because I was behind on having those ones. Shelby, please, I'm terrible at math. I wish I could just sit here and do an hour stream of just doing people's math for them. Like, we could even do it live. That wouldn't be a fun stream. No one would enjoy that at all. Never mind. Aw. Okay. You know what? Here's a nice little lighthearted one that somebody asked. How can I make more friends? And I, because I can see the username, it's somebody that I know who asked this. I think they were just being a little cheeky, sending a little question that could be a good advice to give for younger people. But there's 2 different ways to solve this problem. If you were young or if you were older. It's actually the same way you solve the problem. I lied. People seem to think that it's harder to make friends when you're older. But this is my theory on how we make friends. In school, you make friends with the people that you see every day. Obviously, we end up in our little groups of friends in school. We end up clicking with the kids that kind of just vibe with us the most, have the most things in common. As a kid, it's mostly easy because you're in a room with like 50 kids that just all want to have friends. And there's usually groups. You know what I saw? This isn't even advice. This isn't even a thing. But I saw somebody post from their child's school. That's something that they do. And hey, maybe you can go to your teacher in private because kids will bully you sometimes for just having a good idea. And what they do at this one school is they have a bench that is assigned, like it's just in the playground, it's an empty bench. And the rule is if there's any kids sitting on that bench, that means that they're looking for a group of people to play with. So the groups of kids that are out there playing, if they go look over and they notice a kid sitting on this bench, one of the kids from any of the groups that are playing will walk over and be like, you can come play with us. Isn't that amazing and adorable? I love that. I think every school should do that and also encourage the idea that like it isn't weird to just pick a random kid that you haven't ever played with before to play with you and your friends. Who doesn't want more friends to play with? Who doesn't want more kids that you get along with and vibe with? Everybody wants more friends. So nobody's going to let you sit there alone for too long, I don't think. Hopefully. There's usually always some kid that is just absolutely going to be like, yeah, let's come play. Come play with me, even if it's just one kid. I love that idea for schools. But then also, people think that it's a lot harder to make friends as an adult. And in one way it is, especially depending on what you do for a living. Because the places that you end up making friends as an adult is the same as when you're a kid. It's the people that you see every day. So a lot of people will make friends in their workplace is usually where people get friends. Let's say you don't work somewhere that you can make friends with the people in your job. Maybe you work from home. People make friends. What else was I going to say? The thing is that you need to establish something that you go and do every day, once a week, an activity, a hobby that you go and do. You go to the same place. You will make friends with the people that you see every day that are doing the same thing in the same place every day or every week. It just shouldn't be a daily thing, probably. But like, pick something. Do it alone for a while. And eventually, the people who are regulars who are doing the same thing as you on that day, in that place, the same activity or hobby that you're interested in, and you will make friends with people just inherently by seeing the same faces regularly. I think that's how adults usually make friends. I had a hard time making friends because my job is not in person. It can feel really hard to make friends with people online because a lot of the times it feels like everybody's already got their friends. And that's, I think, another problem with adults and kids is that everybody seems to already have their little groups. But everybody is always willing to include another person who is like-minded, interested in the same things. Nobody is going to be gatekeepy about how many friends are allowed to be in their group. They will always be willing to accept another one. That took way too long in that advice. I also just thought that bench thing was an adorable thing I heard about. Coffee, sitting in a Starbucks, go do some work once a week. Pick the same day, or honestly, just like sign up for a class. I know that sounds lame. I know that's also like 30-year-olds do that. They go sign up for classes. I've been thinking about doing a couple of classes, and I'm not even looking for friends. I'm open to them, but I really want to go to and do like a baking course just for funsies. And me and Megan have talked about a couple of things that we want to do as like activities and hobbies. My friends here have started paddleboarding. I actually went paddleboarding yesterday, which is why I wasn't live, and I forgot to tweet that it wasn't going to be live. But I went paddleboarding, so me and Megan were like, we can go paddleboarding when I'm back in LA. And also we wanted to do like voice acting and video game classes. Dude, it could be so fun. It could be really fun. All you have to do is one. All you have to do is pick one to do 1 day a week. That's pretty easy. Okay. Oh no, I have opened up a can of worms with telling people that I can give them advice, and I'm starting to read some of the problems. I'm like, I don't know how to help you. Oh no. Ooh. And we are keeping it lighthearted, so I'm addicted to aloe vera drink. I do think there are negative side effects to drinking aloe vera juice too much. I googled it because I thought, is this healthy for me to be drinking aloe vera juice every day? Because I had that same addiction to aloe vera juice because it's so good. There are some negative side effects. I'd cool off on that as soon as possible. Have maybe a couple a week, but every single day. I don't know how much you're drinking of it, but I don't know. Can you give advice to closeted LGBT members? Best advice I can ever possibly give you is don't feel pressure or the need to come out of said closet for any reason at all at any point before you are ready. Don't let anyone pressure you. Don't let anyone be like, you kind of give me vibes like you should not be straight or something like that. Do it only when you are absolutely comfortable. Do it one person at a time who you end up being comfortable with. Don't tell people that you don't think will take it well at all, because you know what? They don't get to be let in on that then because they aren't a safe person. So genuinely, no pressure. The reason people stay in there is because it's safe in there when people don't know. But as you open up to your friends, find who you feel the safest with, you can tell people one at a time. It doesn't have to be a whole big thing. And just do your thing. You can stay there as long as you want to. I don't know if this is what people normally say about being in the closet, but stay in there as long as you want to. Don't like repress things, but I think it's very valid if you don't want to make a big deal or coming out and just live your life, and the only people that need to know are the people that need to know, that matter to you to know, or partners that you choose. You don't have to pick any labels. You can just go and exist and not ever even call it anything if you really don't want to. Just be comfortable being yourself. And I hope you do feel comfortable being 100% yourself as soon as possible, because I do think living as 100% yourself is just the best way to live life. 100%. So as soon as you feel like you can do that, do it, but no pressure to tell people that maybe shouldn't know, because maybe some people don't deserve to know because they aren't a safe person to tell. That's how I do it. I highly recommend it if you want to live life like that. I'm starting to move in my life more in the direction of not labeling anything, and nobody needs to call anything that I am anything. I don't need to put a word to any of the ways that I feel or behave or do whatever. It doesn't matter. And the only people that need to, it never needs to even matter to anybody but me and maybe my partner at the bare minimum, if I don't even want it to be a whole thing that is a defining feature in my life. And at the same time, labels are obviously there for a good reason, for people who do want to find a sense of community, a word to make them feel like they don't, there's nothing wrong with them. There are other people like them. But then I think the more comfortable you get, or just explore, or maybe you find that you're maybe a little bit more fluid or open to just not labeling everything so strictly and just exploring what could be, who you could be. I think the less you even stress about putting a word to it anymore. But just go out there and be comfortable, bro. I'm uncomfortable 90% of the time, but let's make moves for all of us to just live a little bit more comfortably every day with ourselves. I think we deserve that. We live in this body our whole lives, so we better start getting comfortable now. We have to keep this brain for our whole lives. Better start trying to get comfortable now. Sooner the better. And it's never too late. Sooner the better, but never too late. I might even open the floor for people that maybe they've had these experiences and then they can help. Because one of the ones that I'm reading, I really don't know a very good, like, neatly put answer to solve your problem. I don't think most problems have one of those, actually, most of the time. Unfortunately, I wish there was a magic string of words that could form a sentence that was exactly the thing that you needed to just completely and 100% solve the issue. But, my friend group are arguing with each other. What should I do? That's tough. That one's tough because especially if it's other people in your friend group arguing and it's not even you, you're just kind of in the middle of it. It's also hard because I don't know what the argument is specifically. So that one might even be argument specific on how you tackle that one. And I don't know how old you are. And I assume a lot of these come from people who are young because I think the most mature thing that you can do in a situation where two people in a friend group, however big or small that friend group is, if they're fighting with each other, one, maybe start by sitting down with each of them separately. Try and have them in a very calm, non-emotional, like emotionally charged way. Explain what the issue is. And then try and have them say exactly that, the non-emotionally charged explanation of how they feel. Try and get them to be able to sit next to each other, if you're comfortable enough to mediate. Have them say exactly that answer to each other. It can be really hard to remove what is making you angry about a situation or upset or what made you hurt. But as long as the two people involved or whoever is involved are willing to sit down and just fully, no judgment, no bias, hear out the other side, and then you take turns. They say their bit, what's hurt them, what is upsetting them. I don't know what the issue is, but this is just generically what you can do. Then have the other side go. Don't have it be a defensive response. Don't have it be an emotionally charged response. In fact, even have them write it down ahead of time so that they don't become affected by hearing one person go first. But everybody, when trying to solve an issue like an argument or being hurt, have to be willing to fully hear, be completely present and listening to the words that they're saying to you, what their problem is, what was hurt, what made them hurt. I think a lot of times people, when there is an argument, one person will say their side, what's upset them, and then the other person's just ready either one to defend without even hearing out what you're saying or taking it too personally, because sometimes you can phrase things and say, this made me feel this way. You are not accusing anybody of doing anything when you put it that way. Your feelings are valid, but maybe they aren't coming from something that was the other person's intention. Let's not take it as an attack when somebody says, when this happened, it made me feel this way. And then, you have to be able to speak to reassure what they're telling you, how it made them feel, even if you didn't do something with that intention. Don't take it as an attack. And you have to be willing to listen to people completely and fully without being ready, first of all, thinking of what you're going to say next without even listening to what they're telling you, because I am guilty of that. Not even with arguments, but when someone's telling me something, I get caught up in thinking, what am I going to say next? And then I forget to listen. That's a problem I have. And especially when you're trying to resolve an issue, you can't do that. You have to be present and just hear them out. I don't know. I guess that's fine. I guess that's how you do that. I don't want to get out of bed. Been there. I've been there. I've been there for sure. Who hasn't been there where you're having, you know what? How hard have you been working? You are allowed to have a day where you don't get out of bed. I know this sounds maybe taboo, maybe illegal, but especially if you've been working hard or you're going through a hard time, maybe instead of feeling guilty about it and trying to force yourself out of bed and then kind of just trug around or I don't know what word that was supposed to be. Just trudge. Is that the word I'm looking for? Just like, I don't know, slink around your apartment. Maybe just stay in bed. I think, unpopular opinion, you're allowed to do that sometimes. Just don't get out of bed. Why do you have to? What do you got going on? Can you take a day and just stay in bed? Is that going to solve any of the problems you got going on? No. Are they going to go anywhere that you can't just wait till tomorrow? No. Stay in bed. Don't get out of bed. That's my opinion. Sometimes just stay in bed. I got school, so I have to get up. How do your parents feel about mental health days? Because I don't know if that would have flown real easy with my parents when I was in school. If I was like, I'm really stressed right now and I really need a day off. I don't think that would have worked with my parents. No offense to them. I don't know if that one would have worked. And because I didn't think that one would work, I never tried. Instead, I faked sick. Am I advocating for faking sick? Not directly. But your mental health is incredibly important. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do to salvage what little bit you have hanging on by a thread in there and take a day off. And then all your things that you got going on, they'll be there for you tomorrow. Not so much can build up over the course of one day if you take one day off. So just don't make it too many days off in a row. And also, when you start having your problems piling up, take them on a little bit at a time. I make it like a game. If I start having the cleaning around my house and like the little chores piling up, and I'm suddenly at the end of like a couple of weeks of like, I have to wash my sheets and my clothes, fold all the laundry that's dry and just still in my dryer and also in my laundry basket because I did so much drying at one point, but I never put any of the clothes away. And also I need to do all of the dishes and I need to clean out the fridge because a lot of the food has gone bad now. And I also need to make an order of new food. See how quickly that happens? Do it a little bit at a time. Usually I make it a game, and once I start, and I'm like, today I'll clean just the kitchen. I'll just take care of anything kitchen related. I'll vacuum up the litter, because the litter box is in the kitchen. I hope that doesn't sound gross. It really isn't. It's very clean. And then, usually by the time I get started doing something in one room, I do everything for that one room, and then usually I move on to the next room. And even if you don't, you're allowed to just stop right after that one room. But make it like a game where you have an achievement. After you do the whole kitchen, then go reward yourself with something. You did it. And then tomorrow, take on another like small corner. Break it into parts, into sections. One day was my laundry day entirely of just folding and putting it away. And after that day, I was like, that's enough for a single day. I'm only going to do that one thing. And I was accomplished. I did my thing. And then I got to go and play Overwatch after. That was my reward. Was this even a question that somebody asked, or did I just start? Also, that's where I'm at right now. I need to do some laundry because I'm almost out of clothes that I even brought here. So the problem is a lot of the places here, including the one I stay in, doesn't have a dryer. So doing laundry automatically takes twice as long because clothes have to dry on a drying rack, and I hate that. But anyway, I don't have a solution for that problem except maybe just try and get ahead on doing laundry every single day, and then I will never have no clothes, I guess. Ooh. We're sticking with lighthearted too, but some of these are kind of really fun. I fell in love with my best friend. How do you know for certain how that will go? Sometimes I think that we know, especially depending on who is what sexuality. Sometimes we know if we were to ask that question, like, are you interested in me like I'm interested in you? If you already know that it's not going to be reciprocated, I think that we need to start taking steps to move forward, and I don't know. But I think more often you don't know for sure until you say it to your best friend, and I'm of the belief that you should definitely say it. I think that it's only the worst thing in the world that it will eat away at you for all of the time that you spend not knowing the answer to the question, that it is not worth not asking because you're worried about risking the friendship. You're risking your sanity more, and I think that knowing one way or the other will become the best solution for you. And even if it's no, worst case scenario, it's no. That's your friend still. That does not ruin friendships. I've had lots of friends. I had crushes on my own friends. My own friends had crushes on me. Weren't reciprocated. Guess who? All of us are still friends. It really isn't a thing. And if they really can't move forward and be your friend after knowing that you feel that way, and you're okay with knowing that they said no as long as you keep getting to be friends, but they're not able, I don't know. I've never known that situation to even ever happen, actually. And if it does, I think it was worth the risk every time. Always. It's always worth the risk. I got lucky and they ended up liking me back. It's the not knowing is the thing that is the worst situation to be in. It isn't worse for them to say no. It's worse for you to not have an answer at all. You have to ask. Especially if you're in love. Head over heels. That's a train that ain't stopping until you get an answer. The sooner you find out, the sooner you can break for another course with your train, wherever that's headed, but I'm dating one of my closest friends right now. We were friends for 3 years before we started dating, and it's going really, really well so far. That's one of the best bases of friendships. I mean, relationships is friendship. That's how most relationships, I think that's how you start a really strong relationship, is starting with it being your best friend, or just a really, really good friend. You know that you like each other on a friend level. It's a great place to start. I don't think it could be a better place to start. And a true friend, this is what I was getting at, Apple said, a true friend wouldn't care if you don't reciprocate. They would be able to move past it, and you will too, especially once you have the answer. You can't move on until you know. And once you know, even if it's a no, you can and you will move on in time. And you'll be okay. You'll be fine. Boy, does that suck when it happens, though. Because then you're like, uh-oh, oh no, I'm in danger. Oh, I don't know how to organize my day to get things done. That kind of goes with me breaking it down. You only need to do so much in one day. Things don't pile up from a single day. So as long as you're like chipping away at it a little at a time, you just have to break up what are your responsibilities in like small blocks, I feel like. Instead of looking at the whole thing as one giant load of things you have to take care of, break them down into small blocks. You get to pick and choose which ones you feel even up for that day. If you're looking at the little blocks you have set out, you have laundry, you have dishes, you have work, you have phone calls. On a particular day, if you're looking at those blocks and you're like, I really am not in a phone call mood today, that's not a today thing to do then. Worry about that one tomorrow. Wait for that day to come around where you're like, I'm going to do all the phone calls today, and that'll be the only thing I do today. It might wipe me out by the end, but when it's done, it'll be done, and I can go and do video gaming or whatever it is. That is my hobby of choice. But don't feel obligated to do any of these like little blocks of things that you have to do. You get to decide which day you tackle them. Whichever one on any particular day seems like the easiest one to get done, do that one. Do the easiest one to get done. That'll change every day. Some days the laundry one will be the easiest one. Some days the phone calls will be the easiest one. Because you know what? Usually whenever it's like, if it's an appointment thing, or usually it's the other person on the phone that takes charge, and like you whiz through those phone calls so fast. I hate phone calls. That's why I'm harping on phone calls so much. I hate doing those. I'm overdue for phone calls, and it's a bunch of appointments that I need to make for different, like I need to make a dentist appointment. I'm overdue for a routine cleaning. I did just get my car taken in for an oil change. I managed to get one of the calls done. You don't even have to do all the calls in one day. You just pick one. Pick one, little bit at a time. I can't look at things as a big picture. I have to look at them as small things, because then I end up very reasonably being able to do several of them in a day, because once you do one small thing, you're like, well, that didn't take any time at all. I'm going to do another one, and then another one. Then go have a snack, and then do another one. If you want to, you stop after one. Some days is just a one thing day. Oh man, there's a lot in here. I didn't know how many people were going to want to send me advice. I need help deciding whether or not to drop English as my college major/minor. There's a lot of variables when it comes to making a decision when you're in college level schooling. I'm gonna assume, maybe wrongly, that you're talking about you're American, and or just you mean university level, because you're talking major or minor. That sounds American college level courses. You know, I dropped out of school, so I never finished college. Because it took me 6 years of going to college, 3 full-time, and then 3 on and off every other semester, taking a course here and there just so I could keep my enrollment and not lose it. Took me that long to decide and figure out where I wanted my future to go, and I realized that it wasn't in college at all what I needed to be doing. It was move to California and be a content creator full-time, because that was just taken off on its own. That's obviously, that's me. You need to do the same, and I don't know in what timeline you'll be able to figure out what it is that you want for your future. It sounds like you're doubting English as being your focus for your college studies, so I don't know what it is that you want as a career. A minor is very easy to finish. I don't know how far along you are. And I would maybe even encourage you at least do the minor. You don't have to do the major, but you could always come back to it if you want to finish it as a major. Minors can be pretty easy to just go back and finish up. I actually almost have a geoscience minor. I don't think I could do anything with a geoscience minor, and I know I won't be going back to finish it as a major, so I'm going to leave it as an almost completed minor. But it sounds like you're having doubts what you want to do, and I think, and it's very scary for people to make this decision, and it doesn't even always work for everybody in their situations, but I would encourage even time off. Take a semester off. Don't even, I think, worry about keeping the enrollment as much as I did, because I think I even just wasted money and time by staying so long going on and off when I could have just dropped out initially the first time that it was called withdrawing, when you don't drop out but you take a semester off. I would withdraw, re-enroll with one course. Withdraw, re-enroll with one course until I figured out that I just didn't want to be in college anymore. But it took me doing those things to figure it out. See what you have as options for you. Can you do that? Can you go take a semester off? Go out and maybe work, or I don't know what the money situation is, but it sounds like you need time to think about what it is that you want to go and do. How is English going to help you for what you want to do in your life? Is it something that you're just passionate about and you feel like maybe it's a waste of time? If it's a passion, it is definitely not a waste of time at all. Passions are very valuable uses of time. Because they're the things that keep us alive when we're also all having to sometimes work to survive, and our work is not our passion. Passions will keep you going. How can I be interdependent in a long distance relationship? I don't know if they meant independent. I'm sure they didn't, because I think they mean interdependent of, like, I guess, coordinate time for the relationship over distance. Because the independence isn't the problem. You're on your own because they're far away. That one's going to be one that you have to work out with your partner through communication. Figure out what it is that you guys need from each other with that distance. What types of things do you need to do to make the other person feel connected? Find things that make you feel connected and do them with your partner. Little things, if there's an activity that they're doing wherever it is they are in the world, maybe do that activity too, even if you're not doing it at the same time. You're not doing it with them. If it's something that you pick the same activity to just start learning about, so you can talk about it when you have your time to be talking to each other. It's an activity that you have that connects you across whatever the distance might be. Set aside absolutely times to have dates at nighttime. I don't know why I did dates. It's a date if it's over the computer. It doesn't count. It doesn't not count. I mean, do movie nights. Get candy, get comfortable. Hey, get one of those pillows, or two of them. You each need to have one that when you hug it, it lights up. I don't know. Different things will help different people feel connected to their partner when they're a long ways away from each other. And I think finding what those are for each of you, whatever it happens to be that you have as a need from them that helps fulfill that, even though they're far away. If it's a need for touch, pillow that lights up when your partner hugs it. I think it's cute as heck. I think it's so stinking cute. Or just get the same pillow. Each have like this big stuffed animal that's the same stuffed animal, and when you hug it, it's like you're hugging. You know, there's different ways that you make your brain think that you're connecting, even across all of that distance. And that's all you need to do. Everything's just tricking your brain. Brain's stupid. You can make it think whatever you want. I need that pillow. Do you have someone else to give the other one to, so that when you hug it, it lights up? No offense, not to call you out. But hey, there's lots of ways to connect with somebody over any distance, whatever it might be that you need to find as an activity, a thing. Always make sure you're setting aside time. I don't know what kind of time difference you're working with. Having a schedule so that you can know, depending on like what time zone they're in, you know when they're going to be waking up and sending a good morning. Be available for that and send a good morning back. Or I don't know. Lots of ways to connect over distance. Very difficult. Sucks hard, I know. But absolutely 100% doable as long as you are making sure you're taking care to connect in those ways. You're getting your needs met, you're talking enough, you're feeling close enough despite the physical distance. Why am I the way I am? You know what? I ask myself that every day. But instead of spending time asking, you gotta accept it and start moving forward as you are. unapologetic. The sooner you can be comfortable with who you are, the sooner you just get to move forward and live your life as yourself and not have to be questioning, but why am I this way? I'm sorry about it, but you are. Also, though, hey, therapy can help you solve problems that if you are a way that you don't like and there's a way that you can fix it, you don't have to live that way, actually. So, whatever that problem might be, there actually might be a solution. However the way that you are is, there might be an actual way to not be that way anymore if it's absolutely and utterly dysfunctional for you and lowering your quality of life. Yeah. My problem is I want to dye my hair like a dark purple, but I don't know. Do it. Easiest advice I've given, do it. What's stopping you? For what? Are you not, hair, dye back whatever color you want after. I don't know if you have blonde hair. You can't dye that back as easy, but hey, go for it. Hair's hair. Hair's temporary. You can chop it off. You can grow it out. Do something fun with it. It's the most temporary part of our body, in a way. It's constantly growing out, and just do whatever you want to it. I find it really hard to get motivated in sticking to a task. See, I have that problem. If I'm in a wave of just not feeling motivated for a certain thing. Like, just because I can only speak from my own experience, let's use me as an example. Sometimes I struggle with having the motivation for editing specifically, which slows down. I'm in that now, which is why the last video took so long to be uploaded. Although, in my defense, I have a video already ready and uploaded. I mean, uploaded and edited and everything, but I can't upload it until I get the thumbs up from Disney because it's Disney Dreamlight. So I had a really big gap, but then it also just took me a long time to sit down and do the edit for the next Empires episode that I pretty much already had most of the footage for at that point, and it's hard. I don't know how to give advice on that one, because here's what I do. I make myself do it. I make myself sit down and I say, do it for an hour. Do it until you achieve this much progress. I put a line. I don't have to do the whole thing. The way that I did that yesterday, I started the edit and I said, I'm going to dump all of the footage in. I'm going to put them in order and I'm going to do all of the cuts. I'm just going to do that. That's my only achievement that I need to finish that day. I don't have to do the rest. I'll come back to it. And so I went through and I did all the cuts, and after all of the cuts were made and I had basically the video minus zooms and text and music and like additional little effects and things, once I did all the cuts, I looked at what I had and I was like, I'm really excited about this video now, because it's really easy to just look at a bunch of footage and not be able to see the final picture. Same with my hair. I actually had this, it's the exact same problem of I can't see the finished product ahead of time in my brain. So it's really hard to be motivated to do something if I just can't see how it will be finished, because I just can't with my brain. I have a problem growing my hair out because I can't see what long hair, how good I'll feel with long hair. Now I've jumped ahead by just, having extensions, but that solved that problem for me. So I just kept cutting my hair off because I got the immediate satisfaction and was able to see right away what that was going to look like. So I started my edit by doing the cuts. Once that bit was done, and I did it slow. It took me like 2 or 3 hours to do the cuts, which is really slow for me. It was a good amount of footage, actually. I was working with 2 full streams that I put into the video, so that was like 4 hours to go through. That's not even that bad. Let's cut me some slack, actually. But then once I did that, I could really see the finished product of the video better, because all that was left to do was the effects and the text. And so I guess just look at your task. Decide how far you think you're capable of getting with it. Put like a little line. You don't have to finish the whole thing, but get to a certain point where you can draw a clear line and be like, I can stop here. I've done that much and I only have this much left to do. And then this morning, I finished my edit because I was inspired by doing all the cuts the day before when I really didn't want to. I was inspired to finish it because I could nearly see the final product. It's easy when it's something that you love. Obviously, my work is going towards a video that I was very happy with. If your work and your task is schoolwork or work and you're not passionate about it, it's even harder. But I think you can still everything's about tricking your brain. Trick your brain into feeling like you did something, like a really good accomplishment, even if it isn't something self-fulfilling, and it's fulfilling something for some other rando or your boss or your teacher. You get to feel good about that too. Don't know if that helped. Ryan McAleer, thank you for subscribing. Imir, thank you for the Prime. Arctox, thank you for subscribing. Sadie, thank you for 2 months. Unworthy Recruit, thank you for being a tier 3. Thanks so much. And B Geologist, thank you for gifting a sub. Marvel, who thank you for being sub for 32 months. Only 4 months until 3 years. Oh, ew, how have I been here that long? I don't know how I've been here that long. I just had a great idea. I just had a really good idea. Actually, no, I'm going to change it. I changed my mind immediately. I was going to say, for the 3-year anniversary, let's do the 24-hour subathon. I actually think I'm going to do that next month. So, or November. I think I'm going to do it sooner than 4 months from now. So, never mind. I'll do something special for 3 years, though. But I'm going to do the 24-hour stream in the next 2 months. Maybe the end of this month. Feeling crazy. I go home on like the 25th or 26th or something. And I don't go anywhere until mid-October. I'm going to visit family in mid-October. So I'm thinking maybe end of September, early October, we actually get that 24-hour stream. I think I'm just going to ignore the fact that I had a sub goal, and I'm going to make it a 24-hour subathon. It's not going to be a guaranteed 24-hour stream. It's going to be a subathon that will unlock time for a maximum of 24 hours. I saw AMZ do it. It made me feel better about doing a subathon that went up in time, but capping it at 24 hours. Because I was like, is that too little? Now that I've seen people do 7 days. I don't want to do 7 days, though. So I'm going to do 24. But I'm going to do it as a subathon. And I think it will be really, really, really fun. And I'm going to stay awake the whole time. So we're all going to be delusional. Or maybe we're not. Maybe you'll even sleep. And then you'll just have to watch me be delusional. And that just should be fun, I think. I think that should be a good time. We're gonna stay up late and eat snacks and watch videos. Oh my god, it's gonna be like a sleepover. I'm actually really excited. Yo, okay, 24-hour stream, either end of September, early October. Yay, be there, be square. Be there and be square, because we're squares. We're gonna have a sleepover. When I look at people, I accidentally give them a bitch look. Help, I don't mean to. I have a similar problem, but not in exactly the same problem, where I just look at people. And I don't mean to. I don't mean to be staring at people. And I make so much awkward eye contact because I'm in a room and I'm just looking around and I'm looking at people. And I don't know how to not do it. And then I catch eyes and I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't staring at you. I was just scanning the room and I caught my eyes on you. And I'm so sorry I wasn't staring. But also, I don't know what my face looks like. I could look like a bitch. But I'm pretty sure my resting face is lost puppy. That's usually, I look scared. I think it's, I just look scared. But I just accidentally am staring at people. Here's what I think. This is my mindset about this problem of just accidentally being caught staring at people or just looking at them for too long or catching eye contact with them and you don't mean to and you're afraid you look like a bitch because you're staring at them. Or just even the fact that you looked at them, you don't know what your face looks like. But I think they don't care as much as you do. I think that any person you accidentally lock eyes with, they're not thinking about it for more than even maybe 5 seconds of like, oh, why are they looking at me? And then they're going to move on. So you should too. And that's what I do. I stopped dwelling on the fact that I got caught making eye contact with someone because I was looking at them because I didn't mean to be looking at them. I was just staring off and they were there in my line of sight. Oops, I'm sorry. You were staring to the void and then realized you've been staring at someone for the last 5 minutes. Yeah, I think that they don't actually care as much as you think they will about an incident of just, because we're all doing it. We're all accidentally looking at people. Where else are we supposed to look sometimes? So don't stress about it. I don't think anyone cares as much as you do. No one's going to think about it as much as you are. So it's better to just not think about it at all. Oops, I stared at someone. Let me go stare at someone else now. I'm not going to dwell on it. Ooh, any advice for overthinking? This might not work for you. In fact, this is going to sound like the stupidest advice or like solution to this problem that you'll ever hear in your entire life, probably. Because I have this problem big time. I have this problem really big. I am a naturally just all of the time have a level of anxiety. But at any given moment, always. That's just my normal, is a level of anxiety. And everything will become something that is overthought. It's very hard to not. Because also, I just have a brain that is always on. It is always monologuing. I know there are some people that actually have silence in their brain sometimes. What is that like? Because mine, she's always talking. She's always got something. So when you have a brain that's always running, having things to say, stuff going on, it's hard to not just grab a thought of all of the things that are floating around in there and then take it somewhere where it's just completely unreasonable for you to even be taking this one thought in a direction when you have no idea where that, I don't know what a specific example could be of something that you're overthinking. Your friend didn't answer your text last night. It wasn't too late at night, so you don't think that they were asleep yet, and you don't know if they're mad at you, but you don't think you've done anything. I can't stress enough how much of a waste of your time it is to think about what could potentially be the issue there, rather than just don't think about it until your friend answers or you find out for definitively what was the problem. Overthinking will never solve the solution because you don't know what the issue is. You don't know what the problem even is in the first place. And the way that I stop myself from overthinking these days, I don't know if this ever even would have worked for me before, but it works for me now. Because I have many thoughts floating around at all times. I got lots. There's always things going around. If I'm finding myself overthinking something that's happened, like an interaction or something, and I'm overthinking, what is that person thinking? Are they mad at me? What's going on over there? I literally say, I don't know if this will make sense when I say it. I say it out loud in my brain, not actually out loud with my voice, but like the loudest I can say it inside my head. Stop. And then I'm done. I just go on to a different thought. Because you know what? I got tons. I pick a different one. I go and do something. I get up and just change where I'm sitting. I go watch a thing. Or, what was it? Oh, my place where I actually am able to stop my brain is in my car. If you ever can find a place where you can make the brain shut up, treasure that. Figure it out and treasure it. When I'm in my car driving and have the music on, I actually stop thinking. I don't know why. It's the only time that I can manage it. When I was having really, really, really stressful times a couple years ago, I was having really stressful times during my caring for Rocket. What I would do is I would leave my apartment because I would spend all day in my apartment. It was a pandemic, especially. I'd leave the apartment. The 2 cats are fine in their closed off rooms when I'm not in the house, so I was okay with doing that. And I would sit in my car. I wouldn't go anywhere. Wouldn't drive it. I would just turn it on and listen to music. I would sit in my car, and I was able to just immediately de-stress in there. But anyway, the major problem, advice for overthinking, I literally just shout at myself in my own head to stop. As soon as it starts going off the rails of like, I have no reason to think that this is happening because I have no additional information. So wait until you know more. You are not benefited by overthinking it. The person who's on the other end of this doesn't even know that you're overthinking. Doesn't know there's a problem, probably. So there's no benefit to doing it. So I literally just say stop. And it actually works for me. I don't think that's going to help most people even necessarily, but I literally just say stop. I say nope. And I go do something else. Or I just start thinking about a different thing. And I'm like, what else do I have going on? What else can I think about? I got lots. Always going. So, and also just the logic behind overthinking and why it is a waste of your time that might help you realize why you just shouldn't be doing it is because of all of you usually go down the negatives of what could possibly be happening. And there isn't any reason for you to think that a bad thing is happening more than there's the likelihood that there is nothing bad happening. Maybe something good is happening. Because the possibilities of what's going on that you're overthinking about are literally entirely endless because you don't have the information to know. So it is a waste of time. Overthinking is simply a waste of your time, so you should just stop. It does help me to say stop, though. I also talk to my brain like it's separate from me. And I'm like, girl, you gotta relax. You gotta shut up. You gotta stop. It's not loud. Stop it. That helps me, too. It also helps me be gentler with myself when I think of me as like 2 separate beings. Or if I'm talking to myself in the mirror and I'm like being hard on my body, I'll be like, what is wrong with you? I'll talk to myself as an outside person and be like, you need to stop. Be nicer. Treat me as a friend. Treat yourself as if you treat one of your friends. Because if you're in the mirror saying mean things, you'd never do that to your friend. So just treat yourself as if it's a whole separate person from you. If that makes any sense. How How do I get hair extensions and still keep my hair healthy? I didn't know that extensions were not good for your hair. I don't know if mine are doing damage to my hair. They're tape-in. I think tape-in are very safe for the hair. You do have to take some precautions and care to not be too rough with them. You don't want to pull out the little hairs that they are taped to. But now that mine have grown in a couple of weeks, it's so easy for me to be a little bit more rough because they're a little bit looser. They're not so tight to the scalp and so close up. There's a little bit of wiggle room, so I can like really move them around a lot, and like I have a lot more freedom with my hair. I'm not quite as gentle, but I'm very careful not to tug too hard. I sleep a certain way. Are they a little bit more maintenance than no extensions? Definitely. It's a little bit more maintenance, but then also now that I have long hair is less maintenance than short hair for me. So it kind of balances out for me. Can you wash extensions? Yep, it washes just like regular hair. Don't put conditioner up here. I do think that loosens the little tapes. I was told not to condition the top of my head, but I shampoo purple shampoo all over. So that's all the same tone. And I condition the ends, even though it's not my hair, it still needs like I used a good deep conditioner the other day and it was so soft. It was so soft. Today it's loaded with dry shampoo. But, EMDR therapy helps a lot because you acknowledge how you're feeling and then tell yourself truths to the contrary of your thought process. I don't know what EMDR is, but I think that sounds like a great thing. I did, from my therapist, learn essentially what you're describing, which is acknowledge your feelings and then tell yourself the truths to the contrary of your thought process. I had a little problem when I started going to therapy of quite literally what I told her was my problem was I didn't know how to know the difference between a feeling and an intrusive thought. If I think something, does that mean I'm feeling that way? And we all have intrusive thoughts. We all have thoughts that pop in and it doesn't even necessarily reflect how we're really feeling or what we're really thinking about another person. If we have an intrusive thought about somebody else, I'm of the belief the first thought that you have, like the initial thought as a reaction to something, isn't the one that means the most. It isn't the one that matters. It's how you respond to what that first thought was. Because sometimes we have not good thoughts. Sometimes they pop in, you say a mean thing in your head or have a mean thought. What matters is how you respond to that and be like, whoa, hey, you don't really feel that way. That was intrusive. That wasn't nice. Check yourself. But my therapist gave me this like little sheet of steps to take. Oh, should I try and find it? I will, in fact, because this is an advice stream. And I think this is a very easy way for people to stop overthinking and also be able to tell the difference between, am I just having bad thoughts because I'm having a bad thought time because my brain's dumb? Or is this my real are these my real feelings? It sounds dumb that it might not be easy to know the difference, but it's real. Also, what was her name? Because I don't know how to look her up in my phone. Nope. Ah, found her. She gave me this like sheet. Number 1, is it true? So you take the thought. You isolate it to a single thought, like make it a sentence. Is it true? And then the follow-up underneath, what is the reality of it? Did it happen? Is it something real? 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? I don't like the language they use, honestly, on this one, because I think it makes it a little bit too, I don't know. It's a little bit too formal. But the idea behind it is good. Is it true? Can you know that it's true, the thought that you're having? How do you react when you think that thought? Where does it hit you? What pictures come when you think of that thought? How do you treat others when you believe and feel that thought? How do you treat yourself when you believe and feel that thought? How have you lived your life because you believed that thought? 4, who would you be without that thought? I don't know if this helps with overthinking. These are just the steps. There's like a whole bunch of questions to ask yourself to take a thought that you're having and overthink a thought about yourself, and then just go down all those steps. You usually end up with the truth, how you're really feeling, and you can just sit and decide from there. I don't know. Gaming Star, thank you for the Prime. God Enix, thank you for the Prime. Lauren, thank you for gifting a sub. Nerdy Nurse, thanks for subscribing. Hunker Momedy, thank you for subbing. Thank you, guys. Also, just if you can get a therapist, that's definitely going to be like the best thing that can help you with any of these types of thinkings. If you can't figure out how your thoughts are your reality, stuff like that. The best solution for that is to, if you have the means, go directly to a therapist or your therapist. My sister broke her Switch and now I can't play Animal Crossing. How do I save my money? I mean, you got your account, so the account on Animal Crossing should be saved, right? Isn't that like a Nintendo cloud thing? So if you bought a new Switch, you would be able to still load your world up, or are you gonna have to start over? You can get a secondhand Switch. They said, how do I save my money? Secondhand Switches, get a secondhand Switch Lite. What do you need it to be? The full dock system? You could save money on it being a Lite. Honestly, less likely to be broken because it is a single piece and not several pieces. And get a secondhand. Get a certified secondhand. Either a certified secondhand from, I don't know if GameStop or Best Buy themselves do it. Some tech websites do it. Newegg is a website. Amazon is a website that have secondhand used, but will be certified that they still work. Pawn shop, also an option. I don't know the quality of them, like certifying how good the product is and how well it works at a pawn shop. I don't know if that's something you can trust more or less than Amazon, but also I don't know if you can trust Amazon either. So I would definitely recommend a secondhand one though. And a Switch Lite is a lot less money, but then you don't get the dock. But I don't know if that is very important for you. Do you have any advice for feeling homesick? I think this one's an individual problem that each person will have to find their solution for, because I am not someone that is very homesick, and I think it's because I have established myself as home, if that makes any sense. If my environment is very important to me, so if I'm staying long term somewhere far away from my home, I try and make sure that the environment is comfortable for me, but at the end of the day, I'm my home. Anywhere I go, I'm comfortable with me at the very least. And I think that at bare minimum, that's enough for me. When I think homesick, I think of me missing my cat in my apartment in LA. I don't even think of like my parents' house as much because I was never very home. This might sound like a bad thing and I will never tell my mom this, but I don't really get homesick for like my childhood home or my parents or anything. Because they aren't going anywhere. They're just a distance away. That is a distance that can absolutely be closed anytime I want to. Or just with a phone call. But I do get a little bit sad being away from my cat in my apartment in LA, because that space is so important to me. That whole environment that I've made in my apartment is I love it. I'm so happy in my house, my apartment. I love it there so much. But I have a very comfortable space here. This is my little comfy space, and I'm going to keep working on it. And at the very least, I have me, and I feel very comfortable that everywhere I go, I can still feel like I am at peace with the fact that I am my own home. All the rest are, at the end of the day, things. And do they make up a very big part of my mood, the things that are in my environment? Yes, but they are also just things. And so when I'm in an environment that isn't as comfortable as my home, it's okay, I have me. I think that comes with building a little bit of self-esteem too, feeling good about yourself and comfortable with yourself in your own head. Some people aren't comfortable being alone with their own thoughts, but as long as you're comfortable alone with yourself, any environment, even if it's not very homey or comfortable, you'll be okay in, because you have you. You have you. You has always been enough every other time. Any other time you've been in an uncomfortable situation, you always had you. But I don't know if that helps, because I'm not like a big homesick kind of person, because I just think of them as places and things. And as long as I have me, and also I always have people who care about me nearby, whether it be friends or family, that's all I need really to feel better and comfortable. Thought you were an actual psychologist. No, but I would love to study it, because I think that I like understanding why people feel the ways that they feel, what leads people to feel the ways that they feel, what kind of things have happened in people's lives that lead them to behave the ways that they do. I find it all very interesting. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I think I'm both. I think I'm an ambivert. I'm very, very, very good being alone in my own space. I feel very comfortable, and I do need to recharge by being alone in my own space. But then I hit a point where I'm like, I've been alone in my own space too long, and I am suffering. I need to go spend energy around people. I don't know if that is still introvert, because I'm not looking to gain energy. No, I am looking to gain energy from people. I need to see other people after a certain amount of being alone, because it builds something up in me that is not able to be built up any other way than being around people. But then I gotta go home. Then I've had enough and I gotta go home. So I feel like I'm both. I think it's an ambivert thing. Because sometimes I'll say I would prefer to be home when I'm out, but then sometimes I would think I would prefer to be out than home. I get both problems a lot. This one's very vague, but I think there's a few little notes that you could easily tack onto this kind of a problem without knowing any specifics about it. Somebody said, should I forgive her? And that's it. So I don't know what they did. I don't know who her is. I don't know what did they do to hurt you. That's obviously very important context for whether you should or should not forgive them. But a few little notes on forgiveness. One, you don't have to give it ever if you don't want to. I think people put a lot of pressure on needing to forgive to be able to move on and have closure for yourself. And I think that's a little bit of a load of garbage. I think you're absolutely able to move on with your life, feel completely at peace, have your closure, and not forgive someone for a certain thing. You don't ever have to, it doesn't mean you're holding it at all. You can let it go, but still not offer it as a forgiveness of someone doing something to you. There's no obligation for you to be able to move forward that you have to forgive someone for doing something. You don't. I've moved forward plenty of times. I think it's even healthier sometimes to not feel like you have to forgive someone for doing a horrible thing to you, but you're still able to move forward and not hold on to it and keep it in you. You can let it go and not offer them the forgiveness if you don't want to. But obviously the problem is the big important issue here. And also, sometimes good people make bad decisions and make bad mistakes. It doesn't make them bad people. If you want to forgive them, see how they change as a person to show you that they are a good person with good intentions, and not a bad person that doesn't care that they did a bad thing, but are a good person that does care that they did a bad thing. That distinction is the most important, I think, for everyone ever of all time. I think it's the most important thing when people online make mistakes, when people, I don't even want to talk about like cancel culture or anything even involving that, but I think that the thing to be remembered in any scenario where someone has done something bad is to make the very distinct distinction. Are they a good person that cares that they did something bad and are going to be and are actively trying to do better? Or are they a bad person that doesn't care that they did something bad? Did they do it again? And again and again and again? Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're a bad person. Are they trying to be better and not make those mistakes and are very open about that? Then maybe they're a good person that made a bad mistake. And that's okay. That's going to happen to us all. We cannot all be perfect people all of the time. We've all done bad things. That's just going to be the truth of every human being, is you can't do everything good perfectly every single time, all of your entire life. You're not always going to say the correct and perfect words every single time, all of your life. What matters is, are you intending to hurt people with the words that you choose and the things that you do? And do you care about being better than you were before when you were doing things that were not good things? There are people who are in the gray area too. I don't know what the gray area would be between being a good person that made a bad mistake and wants to be better, or just a bad person who's making bad decisions and they don't care about who it affects. I think the middle ground is the growth in between, because we can all acknowledge I was a bad person at that time. You don't have to make an excuse for why you made bad decisions. You could just say, I was a bad person. I didn't care. and you were trying to be a better person, I hope everybody gets to a point where they're like, I want to be a better person. I would hope that for every person, always, forever. But also, I mean, with there being gray area, there's always nuance to everything. Everything always. Nothing is like a black and white. I think that's what you mean by good person, bad person. I only use good person and bad person to say when you do something that is a bad, hurtful action or something you said, it doesn't automatically make you a bad person. Bad decisions don't make a bad person, but there are bad people. It's all about intention. Intention matters. When you've hurt somebody, first apologize, because regardless of your intention, if you hurt somebody, you need to apologize upfront and without excuses. Then I think knowing and making clear what your intentions were is an additional, very important part. I think you need both to happen, because if you had good intentions but made a mistake, it matters. But always apologize first. Let's see, what else? How do I pass college? If I knew, I would have. So I dropped out. I can't possibly help with that one. I'm so sorry. Stick with it. If you're following a dream, you got a passion. I think everybody, if they have the means to, should go to college. If they have the opportunity and means to do so. But I will also say it is not for everybody. So that one's up to you. Yeah. I don't believe there are... Oh, I don't know what that was. That's okay. Oh, here it is. I lost it. I don't believe there are bad people or good people, just people who do pro-social or anti-social actions. It might be a similar type of thing. I personally don't mind using good or bad people. I do think that people are a lot more complex than just simply those two things, but I think they are both the extremes of either end. But also, I believe good people make bad decisions. Good people is not the far end of the spectrum for bad people being on the other end. Good people is somewhere in the middle. Perfect people is on the other end, and that's not a thing. Those people don't exist. So everybody should exist somewhere in the middle. But I do think there are people that are just bad people that exist on the other end, that have maybe made good decisions at some point in their life, but if they keep making bad decisions, they will just keep being a bad person. But can choose different. But also, I want to look up, for my own sake, after the stream, about pro-social and anti-social, because I think that's just an interesting other way of looking at life, and I think maybe even helpful to learn about. Infinite Shadow Knight, thank you for subscribing. Riley's Basement, thank you for gifting. Thank you guys for subbing. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Some people are putting things in the chat instead of my Instagram stories. I wanted to keep them anonymous for the stories, but I'm happy to also read someone's from the chat. Also, though, don't tell me how old you are. That will be immediately deleted. We don't want to know. Nobody wants to know how old you are. I'm sorry. No one's interested to know. Where did the music go? The jazz! We got jazz back. Do you have any advice on body confidence? I have a little bit, because I've struggled with loving all of the time my body, and one thing is that you don't have to love it all of the time, but you do have to be nice to it all of the time. Don't be mean to it because it is there doing so many good things for you. A few of the things that I do, one, I acknowledge that maybe I am not 100% happy with where my body is at the moment, and that is okay to feel. But that does not make it okay to be mean to my body. It's also okay for it to be where it is now, but not be where I'd like it to be, and still love it for it being exactly what it is right now. You can be kind to it in all stages. It isn't only worthy of being kind to when it looks the way you want it to. It needs to be treated kindly all of the time. Because also, bodies, just naturally, all people, even especially a lot of the times, women, Our bodies change for all sorts of reasons all of the time. To be able to maintain the same exact look in your body, damn near impossible. So weight fluctuates for all sorts of reasons all of the time. What kind of diet are you having? Your period, hormones, things affect hormones all of the time, and hormones affect weight all of the time. And just that's how naturally bodies just change weight all the time. They don't keep perfectly the same look forever. It's not a maintainable goal to hopefully stay looking exactly the same all the time. It's just important to love it even if it isn't where you want it to be, because it deserves to be treated nice anyway. While you work on whatever you want to work on in the healthiest way that you want to, with maybe help from a doctor, if you have certain goals, make sure you're doing it in the healthiest way possible. But it's always deserving of being treated nicely, even if it isn't where you wish it was. Because it isn't only worth that when it looks the way you want. Also, it's a really hard process to want your body to look a certain way, because I feel like that's an impossible dream to chase sometimes, because you keep moving the bar of where you wish your body was. But be kind to it. It's doing so many things. It's working so hard. And it's okay if it isn't exactly how you wish it was right now. Or ever, because it's still good. It's still good. My friend said she's trying to be a better friend, but they keep repeatedly being rude, and I don't know what to do about it. Do you have any advice? You could put a little bit of distance. It's really hard to do that, especially because if you think that there's going to be some backlash from them, that you're not giving them as much time and effort, they might probably will notice that. But I think put a little distance. Cutting off entirely somebody who is just not a good friend for you is not, offering, what am I looking for? What words? If they're not a good friend to you and you don't feel good when you're with them, you don't feel good about being their friend, there will come a time sometimes where some of us need to make the decision to cut off a toxic friend. It happens eventually. And it can be as easy as just a conversation of like, hey, I just need a little bit of space right now. I hope you're still working on being a better person. I'm still here, but I need a little bit of space. I don't feel comfortable. All of these things are very scary to do. All of these things are very scary to say to somebody. But also, if you find yourself scared to say those things to a friend or somebody that should be a safe space to go and talk about, if you're finding out that they're not safe to go to and you're afraid to do that, that's a sign that maybe they aren't a good friend for you to have. If you don't feel good when you're with them or talking to them and they only make you feel bad, sometimes it comes to the point of needing to decide, and you're allowed to decide that you don't want a certain friendship anymore. It's a very hard thing to come to the conclusion of and then also speak about with that person, because sometimes they don't take it well, but it's happened. It happens to everybody. I've had to tell a friend, like, I didn't feel like our friendship was good for each other anymore. It felt very toxic and felt like we were just both being unnecessarily mean to each other, to the point where it felt like maybe we outgrew the friendship that we had, and that's okay. We have other friends. We have other groups where we feel good and safe with the people that we spend our time with. And if that isn't each other anymore, then space, distance, no more friendship. But it sucks to be in that situation. I do know that. But it's okay. It doesn't even have to be a toxic thing to just simply grow apart from a friendship that you had. I think that happens just naturally without even words being spoken all of the time. I'm not friends with anyone that I was friends with in grade school or high school anymore, and it isn't because any of us had toxic friendships with each other or falling outs. We just all started going in different directions, and I would be thrilled and happy to spark up a conversation with them if they ever reached out about anything or a question that they ever had. I'm not a closed door if it wasn't a friendship that ended specifically because of it being a bad relationship with that friend, but it happens. And it isn't even necessarily a sad thing. Those are people that really were important and formed a lot of who you were back when you were in your formative years as a kid. And then the types of people that you surround yourself with as you change as a person, which we all do over all time. I think I change as a person every year, if not even less time than that. Then the people that you surround yourself with might start looking different. And so your friendships might be different people. And that's okay. That's a good thing, actually. Hey, it's all good. All my friends are toxic. I don't know how to help you. Maybe if that's true that they all suck, maybe it's time to suck it up and leave the whole group. Go be on your own for a little bit. Don't be afraid to not have any friends for a bit. You are not a person that you should be afraid of being and spending time with on your own. And if you are, that's something else to then go and maybe spend some time taking care of in the meantime. And go find other people in the ways that I said at the beginning, how you can make friends. Go be in the same places regularly and do things that you enjoy around the same people that are there regularly. You'll make new friends. Find good people. Because sometimes all of the people in friend group can just be sucky people. That's how they found each other. And maybe, if that's true, it's time to exit and find better people. And it's worth taking the time, even though you'll be alone and without friends for a bit. That's not as scary of a thing as it seems. Especially when you're okay with or comfortable going on the journey of being alone with yourself for a little while, because that shouldn't be such a scary thing either. It's okay to not have friends for a little period of time. Also, I think that they're going to come. Friends come from all over the place. Friends are everywhere. Everyone is just a friend, potentially. There's so many people that could be more friends to you and better friends to you. There is no shortage of them, so don't be afraid. Would I be able to get all of the hugs? Does any of the mods have the hugs in a single place? Or I can go grab them if you do not. I just don't have my Twitch open. I have only Jazz. I have only a tab for Jazz open, and that's it. I don't know how to tell others that I want to go by they, them. Here's the thing. Again, if you're feeling uncomfortable or unsafe bringing it to certain people, might be something to look at a little bit more. But true friends are not people that you should ever be afraid with. Literally just in the simplest words saying, hey, I actually feel a lot more comfortable being called they and them and not she or her or he or him. And if they have a problem with that, that's the sooner you know that, the better, because they're not going to be a good friend if they're not okay with that. So don't be afraid, because you're going to find out who like really cares about you, and that's going to be a very important thing to know. And the people who do care about you will hear you say, hey, I'm more comfortable with they, them, and I'm not comfortable with he, her, or him. Wait, he, him, or she, her. I would prefer to be called they, them. The people who care about you are definitely going to be like, okay. Maybe they'll slip up sometimes. I think that's something that is just inherently, it's almost like getting rid of a certain habit to refer to someone in a certain way. They have to adjust, and they will. They'll take the time. And it matters that they care about you, that they're willing to do that. So I think you just got to tell them, hey, I would prefer to be called this. And then you'll find out who's even, it's a good thing to find out who the people who are not actually caring of you as an individual are. Because then, snip, snip, goodbye, bitch. That's a great thing to find out. As sucky as it can be to find out somebody that you thought cared about you doesn't, the sooner you know it, if it just happens to be the truth. Let him go. Goodbye. I only have time for people that care about me. I think I'm the toxic of the friend group. It's always because I'm straightforward of what I say. If you have that amount of self-awareness to know that maybe you're saying things, you say straightforward, maybe sometimes it's blunt, maybe sometimes it's harsh. I think if you already have the awareness that you might be toxic because you say things a little bit too straightforward and it doesn't come out kind as much, that's easy. That's easy for you. I don't want you to think that you have no hope in this friend group anymore if you're the toxic one. Because all you have to do is, you have the awareness, be a little mindful how you present things. You can be straightforward, but with gentle language or kinder language, or just not even as harsh language. You can still be, I think friends appreciate honesty, so I think that's a good thing. But I think that it can be presented. Try out different ways of presenting your honesty if you think that you're being too harsh with how straightforward you are. Honest is good. Mean is not. What is that people say that when they say they're, what is it, honesty, but like brutally honest? I don't believe in, no, sometimes brutally honest is warranted, actually. I take that back. But honesty can always be given in, I think, a bit more of a gentle, kind manner. Some people need it brutally, though. And some people aren't willing to take that because they're not willing to address the problems that they have that you're bluntly putting in front of them. So that's a different situation. Anyway, I'm going to go grab the hugs and I'm going to wrap up. I don't know if any of this was helpful. I thought a lot of it was sweet. A lot of them are problems that, hey, none of these problems that you guys have are things that are probably as big as you think they are. And also, everybody here, most people here have probably experienced the same problems that you're experiencing. So these guys all in here, good people, good community, navigating life is hard. Where am I going? But you are not alone. And everything that you're going through is not something that you're the only person who's ever gone through it. And that should be a good thing, not a bad thing to feel. That you are not the only one to have ever gone through these experiences. And many people have, and they got through it is the important part to know. It can be done. Fearing Toast. And Honey C. You guys are the two hugs for today. Bring it in. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for vibing with a little bit of soft jazz and some lighthearted advice. I actually expected more silly ones, but if I'm honest, I very barely even got through a lot of what's in here. So I think I want to do this one again, but also specifically look for and skip a lot to the ones that are a little bit more, even more lighthearted. But it was really hard to skip some of the ones that I was like, well, I feel sad that you have this problem. And maybe even just a little bit of words from the chat that you happen to see will even help. And I wanted to offer that up. And next time, let's do really silly ones. Let me just skip. I just have a hard time skipping ones that I feel like I could even say a single word that might be helpful. So it's hard to skip ones. But there's so many. Let's see if I can find one silly one. One like lighthearted. Oh, simple gifts to give someone's birthday. I have actually said this exact advice before, and I'm going to say it again because I don't care. Giving gifts is the easiest thing to get good at ever in the entire universe, ever in the world. I know a lot of people struggle with being a gift giver or being with somebody who is a gift lover and think of gifts as like a really important thing. One, everybody loves flowers. Boys, girls, everybody. No, it doesn't matter who they are. But maybe that's not the best thing to get people. The big advice, which is the thing that I said the last time we were talking about being a gift giver, I think, is pick a single thing they like. One show, one movie, anything that you know about. Certainly you must know a single thing that they like as an interest at all. Go on Google and punch it in, and go on Etsy and punch it in. Go on Amazon and punch it in, see what kind of options pop up. I used my sister as an example. She doesn't know anything about Howl's Moving Castle or Studio Ghibli movies at all. She knows I like them. Went on Google, somehow, somewhere across the internet, found a music box for the like tune for Howl. I think when he comes like floating down the sky or something. I didn't even know that existed. My mom got me also from Howl's Moving Castle. They both did this thing where they picked a single thing they knew I liked, went on Google and found something. Done. Easy. Find something cool and unique. You know what's cool. You're cool, probably. You got friends. That means you're cool. My mom got me the calcifer spatula, which I love so much, in my kitchen. Strum, thank you for subscribing. Easy, easy, easy. But also when it comes to like little gifts to give people, like sprinkled throughout and not a big thing, everybody loves flowers. I think you should give, there's no limit to who would like flowers, unless you just happen to know them well enough to know that they don't like flowers. But two, a letter. I think one of the absolute nicest things that you can offer somebody as a gift, if everything else seems really hard, is to write down, very open and honestly, the nice words that you feel for that person. If it's someone that you really, really care about, put it down on paper. Receiving that as a gift is one of my favorite in the entire universe, the whole world. I have a big thing with words, so hearing how somebody feels about me and cares for me, put to paper in words, the best thing you could ever give me. I love it. I love letters. And the easiest thing to give someone, where I don't think anyone would be mad that you didn't buy a thing. Maybe some people would be mad that you didn't buy a thing, but I don't know, maybe reevaluate those people. Or gifts is important to them in a different way where a letter's not enough. But hey, I love letters. I think letters are good. Loads of balloons and party poppers. It can be so easy to just pull together a big little thing for somebody if it's their birthday, an anniversary, whatever the occasion is. It's actually really, really easy. And then in my opinion, stress less about the like decorative aspect of it. I hardly wrap presents at this point in my life, which I think is maybe a little sad and low effort, but I'm just not good at it, so I stopped trying. Okay, we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna send you away. I'm gonna send you off. I'm gonna do a little raid. I'm gonna send you a goodbye. Thanks for sitting and also trying to be helpful with little advice and little problems that people out here have. None of them are as big as you think, and none of them are as impossible to solve as they may seem. I'm gonna have you guys raid H. It's very early in the morning, I think, for most people on like West Coast. So, but H without fail is always live, and he's playing Minecraft. MCC training arc. Go be so nice. Go bring your vibes. Go bring the good vibes to his chat. And I'll see you tomorrow, possibly. I might actually take the day that I was gonna take today tomorrow, but I'm not gonna guarantee say that. I might actually just be able to go live tomorrow, and I want to do some Empires. I did an Empires episode today. Don't miss it. I have the Disney episode going out soon. As soon as Disney gives it a thumbs up, can't see why they wouldn't. Their game was amazing. I had fun playing it. I don't know how else it can go. But go spread the vibes. Go be good in H's chat. Be the best. Be so well behaved. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, probably. Goodbye. Goodbye. Also, smooth jazz helps with all problems, I think, in my opinion. Okay, bye.